Hey, what's up guys? Today we'll be drawing Gengar from Pokemon. In this short video tutorial, I will be going over the step-by-step of how to create this drawing from start to finish. Beginning with roughing in the basic forms and shape with pencil, and then refine the rough sketch with the detailed line work. After that, we're going to trace the pencil drawing with marker, then color in the highlight, midtone, and shadow. Then finally trace the profile lines with marker again to complete the drawing. Let's take a look at the materials we'll need for this drawing. You're going to need a pencil, an eraser, a black marker, and some crayons. The colors we have here is gray for the shadow on the teeth. I have a peach for the eyes, and a dark orange for the shadow in the eyes. I have black, dark purple, and light purple for the shadow, midtone, and highlight on Gengar's body. Now feel free to draw along and pause the video whenever you like to catch up with me. Now before we start our drawing, let's take a look at a reference picture of Gengar and find out what shapes and form we can use to create our drawing. So Gengar, the whole body is almost like his face. So if we draw a big circular shape like this, we will have his body. I'm going to go ahead and draw my cross on Gengar. Okay, so once you have the cross on there, it's going to turn the flat shape into a circular, spherical form. Okay, and that will help me locate where the eyes are, about where the mouth is. Okay, and based on this big circular shape, you kind of know like the ears, left and right. Okay, a couple more spikes here on the top, and his right leg right here, it's kind of like a circle. Another circle here for the left leg. Okay, add the little toes, add the toes. And then the two arms on left and right are like two cones going out from two directions. Okay, so I'm going to add two cones, add the fingers, and we would have Gengar. Next, let's find out which direction the light is coming from in this picture. It will help us when we color in the highlight, midtone, and shadows. So we have some highlight here, highlight above the arm, a little bit right here, okay? Then we have the midtone, okay? So most of the color is going to be midtone, and then you're going to have shadow. So underneath of the body, it's all shadow, okay? All that's shadow. So from where the highlight, midtone, and shadow is on this picture, I'm pretty sure the lighting is coming from the top, a little bit to the left, like right here. Okay, so with this information, when we go into the coloring, the midtone, the highlight, and the shadow will help us a lot. So now that we have all the information we need for this drawing, let's start with roughing in the basic shape and forms. I consider this to be the most important stage of the drawing because it is the foundation of everything else that comes after. Now, see how I draw very lightly at this stage? It is to avoid committing to any lines too soon. When I start refining and detailing the drawing in a second, the more definitive lines that I'm willing to commit to, I will draw heavier, and the rough sketch will feel like it's fading away as my refined and detailed line work emerge from the basic shapes and forms. Another tip is when drawing circular shapes, I like to draw 4 corners first, and then draw the other 4 corners. And then connect the lines to form your circle or oval. This technique also gives you a more accurate and desired placement of your shape. And if you're not happy with what you have right now, keep working on it until you do. Make sure your anatomy and compositions are good, double check with a reference picture, and if you think it's ready to go, let's start refining and detailing the drawing. See how the rough sketch feels like it's faded away now that we have a refined and detailed pencil drawing? Learn to draw with short and repetitive strokes. Still draw very lightly, but look for that definitive line amongst the rougher sketch lines and draw heavier as you commit to those lines. And you'll see your real drawing emerge from the rough sketch. Okay, next step is to trace your pencil drawing with the marker and then erase the pencil drawing afterwards. My tip for this step is to keep rotating your paper to produce fluent strokes. And remember that you don't have to finish a long line with one single stroke. You can break it up into several strokes. Just make sure that it looks continuous. Okay? See? That line for the mouth? Doesn't have to do it all at once. That's one stroke, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you can be spot on. Still on the pencil drawing, it looks like one continuous line. But it's a lot more easier to draw when you break it up into several strokes. Okay, let's start tracing. When you erase the pencil drawing, make sure you hold down your paper with the other hand so that you don't risk wrinkling up your paper, okay? So the next step is coloring. Now most objects you draw will have highlights, midtones, and shadows. Now on white paper, we can overlay colors to make it darker, but we cannot overlay it to make it lighter. So I'm gonna locate and mark all the highlight areas first, right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, and right here, and then color everything else with midtone. So the midtone is these neutral colors you see here. Okay? And then overlay the shadow on the midtone. I'll decide whether or not to color in the highlights because sometimes it looks great just leaving it white. Okay? So I'm going to start with either the lightest color or the smallest area. So for this one, the smallest area are the eyes and the teeth. That's where I'll start. And then I'll color in the rest of the body. Now that we have all the midtone colors on our drawing, let's take a look at the shadows. So there are form shadow and cast shadow. Form shadow is when shadow follows the form of the shape, and cast shadow is when shadow is casted from another form that's closer to the light source. So on Gengar, we don't see any cast shadows, because apparently he has this big one ball shape with hands and arms protruded out. So everything here are form shadows. Okay, so see form shadow from shadow to midtone to highlight, form shadow here from midtone to highlight, from midtone to highlight. See that? And we have a little bit of dark highlight right here. We have form shadow coming up to that highlight. Okay? So now, I know this drawing looks flat right now with just the midtone, but watch this. See how after we put in the shadow, the whole drawing becomes more dimensional? That's because with your highlight, midtone, and shadow, everything will read as 3D forms instead of 2D flat shapes. Now I know it already looks awesome, but we're going to make it look even better by making the profile lines thicker. Now the profile lines are the outermost borderline of each major form. Now since Gengar is this one big sphere with legs and arms out of it, it's going to trace the most outer line, borderline, okay? And when we make it thicker, your form will read more clear, and the whole character will pop off the page. Let me show you how it works. And there we have it, Gengar from Pokemon. I hope you guys enjoyed this drawing tutorial. Let me know in the comments below what we should draw next, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.